4:30. Worst case scenario is you'll have Jake. Okay. There you go. All right. Call to order the City of Hammond Board of Public Works and Safety meeting of July 11th, 2013. Roll call. Present.
Present.
Item agenda 4, approval of the minutes of the meetings of June 20 and June 27, 2013.
Minute, we approve the minutes.
I concur. Item A, we have a bid opening for the demolition of several properties. We have 4 bids. First bid is from Acton TRI of East Chicago, Indiana. Their bid total for all the properties is $125,646. The second bid is from JM Industrial Services of Hammond, Indiana. The total bid price of $152,900. The third bid is from Gary Material Supply of Gary, Indiana. They have a total bid price of $122,252. Final bid is from KLF Enterprise of Markham, Illinois. Total bid price of $198,000.
I recommend you send the bid to Sylvia.
I concur. Item B, we have a proposal. We have a bid opening for drainage project in the city of Hammond. We've got 5 bids. The first bid is from B&D Sewer of Cherville, Indiana. The bid price of $106,035. The second bid is from Reith Riley Construction of Gary, Indiana. Her bid price is $92,330. The third bid is from Rachel Plumbing of Cherville. Their bid is $76,550. Fourth bid is from Hassey Construction of Calumet City, Illinois. Their bid price is $113,400. Final bid is from McAllister Incorporated of Cedar Lake, Indiana. Their bid price is $63,962.50.
I recommend that we refer these over to the engineering department.
I concur. That concludes bid openings. Item C, we have a recommendation from Garcia Consulting to award the bid for the reconstruction of California Avenue to Hassey Construction, who is the low bidder for the bid price of $1,181,730.
I recommend that we award the bid to
Cassie.
Kathy Construction.
I concur. Item D, we have a change order from First Group for the Columbia Avenue reconstruction project. Change order number 6 is an increase in the contract cost of $12,729. Change order number 7 is a reduction in the contract cost of $55,547.
I recommend that we approve the change order.
I concur. Item E, the Indiana Department of Transportation requests a change order for the Indianapolis Boulevard project. This is the first change order in the amount of $59,183.
I recommend that we approve the change order.
I concur. Item F, we have a request from Councilman Hinojosa to transfer gaming monies in the amount of $120,000 for overlays, one alley, the 7200 block in New Jersey, and the 63 to 6600 blocks of Rhode Island.
I recommend that we approve the transfer.
I concur. Item G, we have a request from Golar's Environmental requesting permission to conduct underground work on the 7200 block of Calumet Avenue. Is there a recommendation to approve the request?
I recommend that we approve their request.
I concur. Item H, we have correspondence from Sergeant Moser requesting the disposal of several vehicles in the police department.
I recommend that we approve their request.
I concur. Item I, we have correspondence from Attorney Alvarez.
Mr. President, there was a second part to H. There's a contract with HostGator, and I would just ask that that agreement be approved. I do have a signed copy to be signed from HostGator. It's an app that the police officers will be using.
Contract has been approved by our city attorney. Is there a motion to approve the contract?
Approved HostGator's contract.
I concur. All right. Item I, we have correspondence from Attorney Alvarez appealing the revocation of the business license of Star Foods at 1205 Chicago Avenue. Set that for a hearing next week.
I think, yeah, we can move that to July 18th.
Is that next week?
Yes. It's been is that your recommendation?
Recommendation, we move it till July 18th.
I concur that we set the appeal hearing for the revocation of the business license at Star Foods for July 18th and send correspondence to Attorney Alvarez as the same. Item J, we have correspondence to Acton TRI delineating the reasons that they were not chosen for the demolition of the property at 638 Willow Court. Is there a recommendation to approve that correspondence?
Recommend that we approve that.
I concur. Item K. We have correspondence from Attorney Hires requesting a rental registration hearing for the property at 1020 Becker.
On your normal calendar, if you want to do it 2 weeks from now, next week. We don't have demolition until September.
I recommend we move it to July 18th.
I concur. Item L, we have correspondence from Mr. Louis Carubas, which is rather unintelligible, so let's just note it for the record. Item M, We have a hearing on property at 4834 Ash. Any interested parties, please come forward.
Good morning. Gary Matthews, attorney for Mr. and Mrs. Jimenez, the owners. This is a property that was a 2-unit apartment up above, an apartment on the main floor. And while we were in the process of working that out, a water pipe burst on the second floor and flooded the whole place out. They've been trying to deal with their insurance company, but that is unresolved at this point. Nobody is living there. The place will remain vacant until we can work out what needs to be done to rehab it and get the approval of the city. I'm hoping to be able to do that in the next 30 days. So I'd ask the board to continue for a status.
August 15th.
That would be fine.
August 15th it is. Do you have anything else on the agenda, Mr. Matthews?
The very next one.
Okay, item N.
That property is a house that was a 3-unit. First Federal Savings and Loan took title by way of foreclosure. The city notified them that the apartments were illegal. We just now got bids to change it either to a single family or a 2-unit, depending on what we can work out with the city. And yesterday I sent a letter to Ms. Cantar asking for a meeting to discuss that.
Would 90 days be sufficient?
That should be great.
October 10th?
See you here on October 10th. Thank you very much.
Item O. Hearing on property at 12 Lawndale and 268 169th.
Good morning. James Driscoll here for the property owner, and I've spoken with Mr. Cook as well as Matt, the inspector, and we pretty much have an agreement to convert both of these to properties that the city is in favor of. Lawndale will go back to a single family. 268 will likely go from a 4 to a 2-unit. We're asking today for a continuance of about 45 days.
Our first date in September.
September 5th, Chris, when did you say the demolition hearing is on?
No, the demolition hearing is until September 26th. It just don't say.
September 5th.
September 5th it is. And you also have item P.
Which is the same
Same
situation.
situation, okay. O and P then will be reset for status on September 5th. You have anything else on the agenda, Mr. Driscoll?
Item Q, I'm here for Attorney Bartholomew in my office. On this one, what we'd like to do is just set it for a final hearing. We've got a few details to work out. We're pretty much have an agreement in principle, but we'd like to move it forward.
Okay.
So final hearing in
September 5th, you want to come on the same day?
That's fine if it's fine with the city.
September 5th it is.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Item R, hearing on property at 6519 Jackson.
Right, I took this case over for Danielle. I've already inspected one of the properties. I'm going to the next one today, so we would ask for a 30-day status. The owner is cooperating. So August 15th, if it pleases the board.
August
Both of
15th.
them?
Yes, please. It's the same owner, both properties, so we're just taking care of both of them at the same time.
Very good. Item S, hearing on property at 1010 Hoffman.
I believe that was continued September 26th.
Are you for 1010 Hoffman?
I have a letter from my attorney putting it to September 26th.
Okay.
Who's your attorney? Justin Wood?
Benison, Joseph Benison.
Oh, Joe Benavides.
Very good. September 26th, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
Item T, hearing on property at 5740 Calumet Avenue.
Yes, we're asking for the removal of one first floor and one second floor apartment. They have cooperated, the work's been done, has been inspected.
The findings in order to be approved.
I recommend the findings in order be approved.
I concur. Item U, we have correspondence from Attorney Murphy requesting continuance of the hearing on the property at 232 to 34 Ogden to Thursday, August 1st.
He hasn't had an inspection yet.
It's been inspected. He came in the office and we clarified what the situation was, what needed to be done. This has been continued several times. I believe it started nearly a year ago. If not the final hearing, one of the final hearings, we need to move forward on this property.
Are you sure this has been inspected?
Yes.
Okay.
If he would like to go through with us, we can do that before whatever date you want to give him. What was the continuance date?
August 1st.
We'll try to get that done before then so we can put this to rest.
August 1st it is. Thank you. 6739 Ontario.
Mr. President, just for some clarification, this is a property that the city ordered demolished based on the condition of the property and its use for illegal activities in the neighborhood. That order to demolish was not appealed within the statutory requirement of 10 days. An agreement to rehabilitate was subsequently entered, and the owner of the property has violated 3 conditions of the agreement to rehabilitate. First and foremost, you're supposed to post a bond and start work by a date certain, which is long past. And Mr. Callahan can testify to that. And second, the property continues to be used for criminal and illegal activity, specifically drugs, and I have Brian Miller here to testify as to that. So the owner of the property has violated the agreement to rehabilitate. The property has already been bid and awarded. It was bid and awarded back in March, just to give you some timeline of how long that this has been pending with no repairs. And I'd be asking that we just be given permission to proceed forward with the demolition on July 22nd.
Sir, this is your opportunity to respond. Can you state your name, please?
My name's Don Brown. I'm the brother of the owner.
Do you have any ownership interest in the property?
No, I don't.
Do you have power of attorney to represent your brother who has ownership interest in the property?
I do have a power of attorney.
Can you render that power of attorney to the board, please?
I don't have it with me. It's on the property. He has it. But he can't be here because the city of Hammond has him incarcerated in Lake County Jail at the moment. So he has nobody else to speak for him.
Mr. Brown, do you deny that the property is being used for drug activity? What's he in jail for right now?
Maintaining a common nuisance.
Do you know what that means under Indiana law?
I know what happened. The police arrested somebody that was on his property that was consuming drugs. He didn't have any on him.
Right, but there were drugs in 6739 Ontario.
Not to my knowledge. It was only drugs on the person that was outside. He'd called a friend of his to help him remove a couch that was down the basement. He couldn't get it up the basement stairs by himself. So the guy brought a couple of friends. When my brother went downstairs, the police showed up and arrested somebody standing outside his house. They hauled him off and then came back a half hour later and arrested my brother.
Do you know if any repairs have been made to 6739 Ontario?
Yeah. He put in some new windows to replace the ones that were broken, but then he had the city put a stop order on him and he couldn't do any more work.
Right, because did he pull any permits for that work?
Yes, he did.
He pulled permits.
Yes, he did.
Then why'd they put a stop work order on it?
They wanted some bond that he didn't have the money for.
So you don't deny he did not post the bond as required under the agreement to rehabilitate?
His only income is his Social Security check. He can't get a $10,000 bond together in the time you want.
So why did he sign an agreement? Why did he sign an agreement saying that he wouldn't do these? He'd do these things if he couldn't do these things.
Because you people told him he'd either sign the agreement or you'd tear the house down right away.
Mr. Brown,
you left him with no choice.
Do you dispute the fact that the terms of the rehabilitation agreement have been violated?
I don't know. I have never seen the agreement. I don't know what it states. I don't know anything about it.
Ms. Kantar, can you extrapolate on the illegal activity that's been occurring at this premise?
Mr. Brown uses this place as a place where people come and use drugs. When the house was originally up for demolition, photographs were presented showing that there was gang graffiti all over the walls, there was drug paraphernalia inside of the house. And I do actually have Brian Miller here, which would probably make more sense to have the chief of police come in. Mr. Brian Miller, would you please raise your right hand? Do you solemnly swear and affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes.
Could you please tell me about the illegal activities occurring in 6739 Ontario from the past to the present?
I'll try to keep my comments brief. I've been your chief of police now. I'm on my 10th year.
There have been few properties in the city of Hammond that have caused as much problems and have been as much of a nuisance as Mr. Brown's property. We've made numerous arrests at that house for drugs, for drug activity, for contributing to the delinquency of minors. It's continued no matter what our efforts have been as far as arresting, as far as citing. We get constant complaints from neighbors about teenagers that are gathering there. We get constant complaints to our dispatch about activity that goes on at the house.
All right, and have drugs actually been recovered from inside of 6739 Ontario?
Yes.
And what is Mr. Brown currently, not Don Brown, but what is the owner of the property currently incarcerated for in Lake County?
I believe it's maintaining a common nuisance.
And have there been previous criminal charges that have been resolved against Mr. Brown at that same location for similar conduct?
I'm not sure of exactly which ones, but he has been arrested on prior occasions.
And have any significant repairs been made to 6739 Ontario?
Not to my knowledge.
Mr. Brown,
Mr. Brown, this is your opportunity to question the chief of police if you have any questions for him.
No, I understand his position.
Okay. All right.
and Mr. President, I'd like to call Jim Callahan, who can attest to the stop work order. Mr. Callahan, would you please solemnly swear or affirm, raise your hand, do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you're about to give in this hearing will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Could you please tell me if any bond has been posted for 6739 Ontario?
To the best of my knowledge, no. When I found out that the permit was issued without the bond is when we actually had the stop work order posted. That's part of the process that we require of everyone, unless the board would decide something different, is to post a bond. So if people don't follow through with the agreement, we use their money to demolish the house rather than our own.
Mr. Brown, do you have any questions for Mr. Callahan?
No, I don't have any questions for him.
Do you have anything in closing, Ms. Cantor?
Well, does Mr. Brown here have any assurances that the property will not be continued to be used for criminal activity and illegal conduct? Can you make those assurances to the board? Can you make those assurances to the citizens of Hammond?
Can you?
When I knock it down, I guarantee there will be no more drugs sold.
I can't.
Promise it. I promise
My
the
brother
city of
is-
Hammond that the vacant lot will not deal drugs.
Mr.
My
Brown,
brother
do you
is
have
doing
anything
his best to get his act in
Mr.
order.
Brown, can you address the board, please?
My brother is doing his best to get his act in order. All I get is a lack of cooperation for his position. I understand he doesn't have $10,000 cash to post a bond to take and fix the house. His only income is less than $1,000 a month from Social Security. Most of the damage to that house was done when he was incarcerated before. He had somebody living with him, and the man got sick and was put in the hospital. His son was bipolar and refused to take his medicine, and that's where most of the internal damage to that house was done. The city allowed that youngster to stay there without any parental control.
You just said he was living with his father.
Yeah, when the father, my brother wasn't in the house because he was incarcerated.
How does the city allow that man to live there?
Mr. Callahan,
He
excuse me,
allowed
this is his opportunity to address the board, please.
The city allowed the child to remain in that house when his father went in the hospital. And when the man died, they allowed him to live there until he was forcibly removed sometime later. And most of that damage was done by that child when he was there at home alone and unsupervised. My brother's tried to make it right. He's painted over all the gang graffiti. He started to make repairs to the inside. He replaced the windows that the kid broke out. He's trying to get that house in shape to the best of his ability with his limited income.
Does that conclude your statement, sir?
Yeah, I
Board
got
ready
nothing else to say.
Is the board prepared to rule on this matter?
Yes. I recommend that we proceed with the demolition to be issued immediately.
I concur. Item W.
Excuse me,
Yes, sir.
how long do I have to get his belongings out of that house then, if you're gonna demolish it?
July 22nd is the day that we're going to allow permits to be pulled.
Item W, we have correspondence from Dana Dudley requesting continuance of her rental registration hearing from today to
Do we have an address on that property, Mr. President?
6136 Lyman. She's not requesting any particular date. Do we have a date 2 weeks out? Item W will reset for July 25th. All right. Item X, rental registration at 7411 Howard. Hello, ma'am. This is your opportunity to explain to the board why you don't believe your rental registration fee should be assessed on this property.
Okay, this house was bought by my parents October 22nd last year, and then we're trying to fix the house. So he didn't occupy this house. Nobody was occupied this house for the, from October 22nd to the end of the year last year. And then my mom got very sick, so February she passed away, so we decided, and the house was leaking on April, so, and nobody aware it was, leaking, and the house, our basement was flooded, so we decided to looking for somebody living there to just make sure the house is safe. So we signed the contract, the lease contract, May to July, end of July, and that's why we didn't register last year and for this year, because it was past April 15, and I have some evidence to show that.
Your parents bought it in October of 2012.
Yes.
Nobody's lived in it since then.
Until, yeah, because last year, 2 months we were fixing the house, and this year my mother was sick, so they couldn't move in.
Well, that would just be to waive a late fee. You would still be charging her an $80 rental registration fee then. So you would charge her a rental registration fee for a unit that's not a rental? You should probably rest on it. Waive the registration fee for 12. It's not renting, and then waive the late fee for 13.
I recommend that we waive the registration fee for 13 and waive the late fee.
12.
For 12, I'm sorry, for 12.
The recommendation is that the rental registration fees get waived for 2012 since you weren't renting the unit, and that your late fee for 2013 be waived, and you register the unit at the regular rate of $80 for 2013. Do you understand that?
Can you say again? Waived for last year and this year?
Waived for this year, last year. This year you're going to pay, the recommendation is that you pay the regular rate of $80 with the late fee be waived.
Okay, so I pay $80.
That's correct,
Sure.
and I concur with his recommendation. You'll have 30 days to make that payment. If you fail to make that payment in 30 days, the order will be vacated and the late fee will be assessed. Do you understand that?
Okay, yeah.
Okay,
All
very
right.
good.
Thanks.
Item Y, rental registration at 1615 Davis.
Yes, I purchased the property a year ago and I wasn't informed I needed to pay registration. I used to live in Illinois and it's a first-time home buyer. So I'm not really familiar with landlord rules. As of right now, we're going through the process with Hammond of converting back to a single family.
This property was inspected. They inherited the tenants when they bought the property. They're going to be living on the second floor. Discovered this when our husband was doing work to the second floor where they're going to live. They've been very cooperative, getting all the permits together, and they are voluntarily converting the two-unit property to a single-family home, so the tenants will be leaving I would request that to be able to register the property $8 for last year, and then we can go through the process of having it owner occupied from this point on.
Is it rented this year?
Yeah, well, they haven't owned it, they've owned it
For a year.
since, what, the end of?
October 30?
October
From
2012 till currently. Now the tenants are gonna, so they basically have only rented it for about a year.
Was this registered in 2012 by the previous owner?
No, sir, it's never been registered.
So we have outstanding registration fees for 2012 and 2013, is that correct?
Correct. Impartial to the previous owner not registering the property. But we can't.
They just took possession in October of 12, though?
Correct.
Yes.
And there was a tenant living there when they bought the property, so.
I recommend that we waive the late fee for 12. Right? And then, is it rented out now, you said?
Correct, but they've been given their 60-day notice. Yeah, so 13 will still be due. Then from that point on, it will be converted to a single-family home. They are getting contractors and pulling permits to the home network. It is a legal 2-unit, but they're voluntarily converting it to a single-family home.
I recommend that we waive the late fee for 12. And then for 13, they need to register it. What's that? Sorry, yeah, for
Regular rate.
within 30 days, you said that?
Are they registering the unit with or without a late fee?
Without the late fee.
So your recommendation is that the unit be registered for 12 and 13, waiving the late fees, is that correct? I concur with your recommendation. You'll have 30 days to register your units. If you fail to register in 30 days, our order will be vacated and the late fees will be assessed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Item Z, 937 Dracker.
Good morning. Did not fill out the proper paperwork last year. The person that was living there stayed there rent-free because of medical issues. I was also in the process of trying to sell the place. Had a number of items fall through. She ended up staying there last year rent-free. I'm asking to waive the late fee. I understand the circumstances and would be willing to pay last year's rental fee.
You are the owner?
I am, yes.
How long have you had it?
Since, I believe, 2008.
So in the past, who's always paid the
I've paid
registration?
I've paid for the registration.
So, I mean, was he only late? Nobody knows if he was late last year. Chris?
Mr. President, I don't have any information from it. Is there anybody renting it right now?
Yes,
Are they paying rent?
yes,
Have you registered for 13?
I have.
Okay. Mr. President, then I would make a motion that we waive the late fee for 2012. He's already registered for 13.
I recommend Ms. Cantar's motion.
No.
Second it?
No. You can recommend that we waive the late fee for
I
2012.
recommend we waive the late fee for 12.
That's what you'd like to do.
That's what I'd like to do.
I concur with your recommendation. You'll have 30 days to register your unit for 2012 at the regular rate. If you fail to do so, our order will be vacated and the late fee will be assessed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Item 2A. Rental registration at 264 and 66 Florence. Any interested parties, please come forward. Seeing as no one appears.
Seeing as nobody appears, I recommend that we
You need to recommend that we affirm or deny an order.
affirm all the fees that were attached to this.
Mr. President, I make a recommendation that based on the failure to appear of the owner, that the appeal be denied.
I recommend we deny the appeal.
I concur. Item 2B, rental registration hearing at 4226 Wabash.
Gerardo Ramirez.
You gonna remember how we ruled on it? Okay.
Basically, we had the house for a couple of years, started renting it out about 2 years ago. Wasn't aware of that I had a register as a rental property, so.
Using testimony of the property, we've had some significant problems at this property. The owner was not aware. He was basically giving his cousin a place to live. However, his cousin has been a huge issue in that neighborhood. The owner's been completely cooperative. He's actually evicting him. He will be leaving this week out of the property. The owner intends to keep it a rental. I feel that with his cooperation in getting this problem out of the neighborhood, it's been very helpful, and a lot of the neighbors are very appreciative of removing this problem from the neighborhood. So I would request that the board show leniency for the owner and waive the late fees, let him register at the regular rate, and then we're working with him to make sure he understands what's expected at this property.
You're evicting your cousin, Mr. Ramirez?
Yes.
Gonna make Thanksgiving a little awkward, huh?
It's better than the alternative.
I recommend that we waive the late fees and then that he registers it for 30 days.
I concur. Your late fees are going to be waived. You'll have 30 days to register your unit if you fail to do so. Our order will be vacated and the late fees will be assessed.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Ramirez. All right, item 2C, 6317 Van Buren.
Hello, my name's Rachel Gallardo, and I'm here for Consuelo Martinez. I'm her daughter. My mom's a traveling nurse, and she is out of town right now, so she couldn't be here.
Ma'am, do you know if 6317 Van Buren is currently rented?
Yeah, no, it's not a rental home. It's actually a family-owned home. My mom owns the home, and that she purchased in 2008. So she lives there. My older brother lived there in the beginning. He's moved. His name is Miguel. His name is still on the utilities for water. My sister lives there now. Her name is Stephanie Martinez, and she lives there with her son. I was there recently, and I just moved about 2 weeks ago.
So nobody there is paying your mother rent?
No, we don't pay rent, but we do each give money to utilities and to maintenance.
All right, Mr. President, I make a recommendation that we waive the late fees based on the fact that it's not a rental.
May I suggest that they fill out an affidavit saying that it is occupied by immediate family, so we have the proper...
Would you be adverse to having your mother, I don't know if your mother would be adverse since she's not here to represent herself.
Go to the basement and pick up an affidavit for your mom to sign and bring back.
Sure, we actually did do...
Oh, you did one?
Did a letter?
Oh, okay. Did Kelly?
We filed it.
I recommend that we dismiss this action on this.
I concur with your recommendation. We're going to...
Thank you.
All the actions dismissed on the property, please just submit the affidavit to the building department that this is a family home with family living there and is not being rented, okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Item 2D, 1748 Lake Avenue.
No, you're fine. It's on the, it's across in the mail.
Hi, I'm Scott Vaughn, the owner of the property. In '98, I bought the property. In 2004, we moved and started renting the property, which time a friend of mine said Hammond was starting a new thing with renting property that I needed to contact and find out what was going on, which I did. They said, come in, you got to register your property, and I did that. Was never told that it was a yearly thing, didn't think nothing of it, till I was contacted here back on May 6th by my dad, who collects my rent. Said, you need to contact the inspector, he's been through, so I need to contact him, which I did. And he told me there was a couple issues, which I have proof, which I wasn't forced to fix anything, but I was recommended to. One was an electrical panel, which was based on a recall list, which I did not know about because I bought the house through FHA. It should not have been approved in the first place, which I do have a receipt that it has been replaced already, and I have no problem paying the fee, just the past rental fees. I do have a letter here from I do have the same tenants for the past 8 years, which I do have a letter from him stating that. which I even went out of my way for him this past fall. He had a heart attack, which I basically waived a month's fee for him and let him pay it back. And the second month, he couldn't pay either, which basically he paid after that.
This board president knows all our efforts we've been through to try to notify people that they need to register their rental properties. I don't know if we have proper address for this gentleman to contact him, but we certainly try to do everything we can to make people understand they can register their rental properties on a yearly basis. And this is not been registered since 2004.
How many units is it?
Single family house was rented. And it was, and I to differ with him, because if I registered, I've lived in the same property since I registered it. Same phone number, I can have proof of it, nothing's changed. So there was a way to contact me. Now, whether it was done, I do not know, because I did not get nothing in the mail, a phone call, anything stating I was late until the inspector came to my house.
The inspector just informed me that the assessor information had still living at that lake address.
Right.
So there may actually be the situation of the old center property also, which is going to be a little different.
No, sir, it is not.
Mr. Lindy is well known what our efforts have been.
I recommend that we waive all the late fees from 05 to 12. I'm sorry, the registration fee from 05 to 12.
Yes, sir.
13, you'll have to recommend that you pay the $80 plus the $500 late fee.
Yes, sir, no problem with that.
And you need to get your right address where they can contact you.
It is the same address, sir. That if they had my paper right now, I got it. I got paperwork stating that I've lived in the same address right here, right now.
If your registers puts that information down, we'll have no other information. There's actually a box on the registration form for him to check to make sure that he understands he has to register.
I concur with your recommendation, Mr. Smith. We've waived all of your registration and late fees from 2005 to 2012, and we've assessed one registration and one late fee for 13. You'll have 30 days to
Yes, sir.
register your unit. If you fail to do so, our order will be vacated and all of the registration fees and late fees from 2005 to present will be assessed.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Item 2E, 7234 Van Buren. We had a letter on this, right? Oh, never mind. No, we didn't.
Hello. My name's Mona Rincon. I've lived in my house for 50 years. When I bought it, it had a little apartment upstairs and was rented, and the man stayed 23 years, and it's been rented ever since. I had no idea I had to register it. Nobody ever said anything to me. Nobody ever got in touch with me till this year. And I did come up and register it, but I don't know what you want to do about the rest.
You've had the house for 50 years?
Yes, sir.
I recommend that we waive all of the registration and late fees and that you pay the $80 for 2013.
Yes.
You live in the home?
Yes, I do.
You'll have to get a hold of somebody from building to,
I had registered it over here. Is that where I go to pay?
You already registered the unit for 2013 at
Oh, you did.
$80.
oh. Then I recommend we dismiss it. And then you continue to pay every year from now on.
Okay. Do they send me a notice? Or do I?
You'll get one in the mail, yes.
I'll get one.
As
in
long
the
as they
mail.
have your address, and now we know that's
Yeah, I live in the house.
a rental.
Yeah.
I concur.
Okay.
Action's been dismissed at 7434 Van Buren.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Item 2F, 6707 Nebraska.
Hello. In 2004, I bought the townhome, And then in March of 2006, I started renting the townhouse, which I did register it in 2006 because I moved in with my fiance, and then I got married in April. And then in June of 2006, I moved into my mother's house to help her financially. And then December 2006, I didn't receive rent from the tenant, so I took her to court. And then in 2007, me and my family moved into the townhouse. And then in 2008, I moved into my husband's townhouse. And then my cousin and my dad moved into the house for the remaining of the years. And then this year of April 2013, I started renting to a friend, but I registered it. So in 2006, I registered it, and in 2013, I registered it, but in the meantime, in
You
between...
didn't because you had immediate family members
Yes.
living there?
It is registered in 2013?
Yes.
Well, that was immediate family?
Yes, and then it was registered in 2006 because I wasn't renting to family members. It wasn't supposed to be a rental
It
property.
appears Ms. Garza has been compliant with the City of Hammond rules and regulations regarding rental registration. Is there a recommendation, Mr. Smith?
Make a recommendation that we dismiss.
I concur.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Garza. Item 2G, 1039 Ames.
Good morning. My name is Albertine Dent, and I'm the owner of the property at 1039 Ames. This was an inherited property that I received from my aunt and my mother. The house had been vacant for 5 years, had not been lived in, occupied by anyone. November of 2012, a person expressed interest in renting the home. I proceeded to try to renovate the home after being vacant for 5 years. I started with renovations, and during that process, someone decided, since I was putting all this money in there, they vandalized it and burglarized the home. They stole all the copper out the house, stole the water meter, causing the basement to flood over 5 feet of water. I have police reports showing all the incidents that had happened at that time. So after the house was not going to be occupied because it was uninhabitable, I tried to sell the house from November, or December rather, until April, and no one was interested in purchasing the property. There was a person from church who expressed interest in wanting to rent the house because he knew the house was there, and I agreed. I, again, started to do the renovations, came down to file the registration fee, and told I was after the filing period, and that I had to pay the late fee and et cetera. So that's where I am with this situation.
Make a recommendation, we dismiss this case.
I concur with your recommendation. I apologize, Ms. Dent. City of Hammond statute states that when a unit becomes a rental, you have 30 days to come in and register it. Obviously, your unit became a rental, you came in within the 30 days, and for some reason was denied the opportunity to rent your unit. I apologize.
It's just a one unit?
Yes, it's a single-family home.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 2H, hearing on property at 7447 Van Buren, 4409 Johnson, and 521 Waltham.
Good morning. My name is Eric Alcantara. I'm the property owner of 7447 Van Buren and 4409 Johnson, and I also manage my father's property in 521 Waltham. In April, before the deadline, I sent the check by mail. Since 2004, I always come in person. This year, I decided to do it by the mail, and obviously, it didn't work out. I guess they didn't receive it. I was out of town, so when I came back, I found out that the check was not cashed. So I came in, and they told me that they never received the check. So I sent 2 checks, one for my properties and the other check for my father's property. I have the checkbook. You can hardly tell because I didn't write. I have the stamps or the checks, but you can see some of it is for how much the amount was and stuff. But I'm just asking to.
Mr. Alcantara, are you registered your units every other year in a timely fashion?
Yes, I've never been late since 2004.
Since 2004.
Make a recommendation, we waive the late fee.
I concur. Thank you, Mr. Alcantara. You'll have 30 days from today to register your units at the regular rate.
What do I have to do? Just go downstairs and
Yeah, if you wait until after the meeting, you'll get a copy of our order waiving the late fee. You can bring that downstairs and register your units today. Otherwise, we'll send our order to you in the mail at the address we have listed for you.
Okay, then I'll do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 2I, 6624 McCook.
Hi, my name is Husnia Spahik. I manage the property for my boss. We didn't get notice. Last year we got a little card. We didn't get notice. All we got was there was a late fee. I ran over here May 21st to pay, and they said there was no way you have to pay $500 late fee. That you can't just pay the $80. And we've paid the previous years. We never got notice. That's the only reason we didn't pay on time.
How many other properties in Hammond do you manage?
Just that one.
Does your boss own any more properties that somebody else manages?
No.
So this is the only one?
This is the only one in Hammond.
Is it a duplex or one?
No, it's a single family home.
That's a recommendation that we waive the late fee.
I concur. Thank you. You have 30 days to register your unit. If you fail to do so, our order will be vacated and the late fee will be assessed.
Can I pay for that today?
You can today. If you want to wait until after the meeting, we'll give you a copy of the order and you can take care of it today. Item 2J, 6521 Montana Avenue.
I have owned this it's a little small cottage for about 28 years. It's always been family living there. And I got a card one year to register, so I came registered. But they said because it was my son living there that I didn't have to pay, and he was giving me $300 a month, but I pay the light, gas, and water. And he passed away last August. So it's been empty. And now my niece moved in just to take care of it because I can't take care of both properties. I live in Munster. So she gives me $300, her and her husband, and they take care of the lawn and everything, and I pay all the utilities. But I didn't know you had to register every year. They didn't tell me that when I came register that time.
After the meeting, make sure that they have your right address.
They
where you
do.
live, so they can send you.
I've been in the
yearly-
same place for the last 30 years.
So they can, hopefully you're getting the yearly notice that you gotta pay.
I never get anything.
Immediate family living there that's not paying rent.
Mr. President, what she'll need to do is she'll need to go down to the basement and fill out the family affidavit, which indicates that this is not a rental, it's being used for family occupancy, but it'll be up to her to fill out that affidavit.
Well, I did. I filled out one. They came and, do you do it every year?
Yes.
Oh, well.
Every year it could change. It could be a rental this year, not a rental.
Recommend that we dismiss it.
I concur. Ms. Jones, please, on your way out, stop in the building department and fill out another family living affidavit.
Thank you so much.
Item 2K, 1658 Indianapolis Boulevard.
Good morning. My name is Mr. Ellis. I own the property. I bought it in 2009. It has 2 rental units, which periodically have been rented. But until I was contacted this year by code enforcement for inspection, I had no idea that there was supposed to be a fee for a rental agreement. I filled it out and I sent it down, and because it was late, obviously, it was in May, and they advised me I should come down for a hearing and basically throw myself on the mercy of the court for my ignorance, and so that's why I'm here now.
How long have you had the property?
2009.
And you've never registered since '09?
No, sir. I never knew there was a requirement. It's not been fully rented the whole time. I mean, people have come and gone.
We've inspected the property. There are 2 units.
When did you inspect the property?
I think it was about
I mean, you guys previously, 12, 11, 10, you never had.
You know what, I mean, in those years I haven't seen any inspection results for the property. It's Piggy's Lounge. I
recommend that we waive the late fee.
I concur. We're asking that you register your unit at the regular rate of $80 for 2013. You'll have 30 days to do so. If you fail to do so, our order will be vacated and the late fee will be assessed.
Do they normally put out a notice when it's due?
Yes.
Okay, so I should get one in
If
future.
we know it's a rental and you don't have a homestead exemption on the property, you should receive a notice.
If they have your address where you reside, so they can send it to you.
Yes.
I think that was the issue when we first contacted us, we didn't have the correct owner information, but we do now.
Item 2L, 1539 Michigan.
My name is William Chalifoux. I'm the property owner.
This is your opportunity to explain to the board why you didn't register your units.
Well, since I'm new to the area, especially trying to try this landlord thing as a retirement plan for myself, I'm a sole proprietor for a small business. I inquired about that rental sticker because at other properties I've seen, I saw that sticker on there. So when I purchased the property last November, I came down here and asked what was it about, and they said, well, you just have to pay a fee of $80, and so I did right away. And I rented it out in December, and on the receipt, I mean, I didn't pay attention to any other papers, and they didn't say anything else, but on the receipt, since I paid full price of the $80 in November, I assumed, because I just recently as well moved from Illinois to Indiana, so I'm still new to the ordinances, but I assumed that it was like anything else where it would have to be renewed the following November 13th. So, but since the tenant hasn't been able to pay the rent for a few months, I guess she went for assistance, and that's actually how I found out that it got failed for the inspection for her to get assistance because the sticker was outdated, you know. So that's pretty much how I found out. I didn't get no renewal notices or anything. And when I inquired about that, I was told that they don't give out renewal notices, that it's my obligation to know when things are due. And like I said, I'm totally new at this, and if it wasn't for her, like I said, she's already about 4 months behind. And
So first thing you need to register, make sure they have your proper, where you
Yes.
reside downstairs, and then I recommend that we waive the late fee.
I concur.
And I did register for this year because she's still trying to get the assistance, but I don't even know where it's at now because, like I said, she's already 4 months behind. And
Mainly make sure they have your address downstairs where you reside so they can send it.
You'll have 30 days to register the unit at the regular rate for 2012. If you fail to do so...
It's already registered, sir.
Oh, very good. It's already registered.
You registered in November 2012, thought that was good for...
No, November.
I understand. So you need to register for 2013.
And it is.
Okay.
They let me renew it because she's trying to get assistance. So they allowed me, I paid the $500.
This was whether or not you have to pay for the late fee or not.
See, it was my options was this. Either they said I
Did you already pay the late fee?
Yeah, they said so that way she could still try to get this assistance, but so they allowed me to get the sticker because like I said, at that time she was already going on 3 months behind. So they ended up allowing me to pay that fee and get the sticker for this year.
What they do is if they're late, they'll still write a letter register by May. If they want to, then they can request a hearing to ask if they have a good reason to wait.
That's ridiculous.
I mean, that's what we explained.
Well, I'll speak with the rental registration. I'll talk to the department head about that.
Okay.
All right.
Mr. President, the only thing I can come up with is that if the board grants his appeal, he could apply, take a copy of the order, and
What we're get, yeah, that's what we're
file
gonna
a
do.
claim for reimbursement.
If you want to hang out
Or
for a while,
credit, I could get credit for so many years, whatever.
if you want to hang out for a while after the meeting and speak with the
Okay.
secretary, she'll discuss your issue with you.
Okay, thank you.
No, we've already adjudicated it, so. All right. Item 2M, 6808 Huron. 6808 Huron.
Mr. President, as no party appears, I would ask that the appeal be denied.
I have a letter from the owner.
Oh,
She
sorry.
requested to have it be at another date. She doesn't say when, so
Item 2M will be reset for July 26th. 5th. 6th. 5th. 5th. Item 2N, 4248 Grover.
I'm here. My name is Sasha Yankovic. I'm the owner of Rams Ventures Corporation. I bought a property in February or March of this year. March 27th is the deed. We rented in April of this year. I did not know that I have duty and I'm obligated to pay this. I ain't got a problem paying it. $80 is nothing.
Is this the only property you own?
That's so far.
Okay.
Sir, have you ever been cited on this property for the activity of the occupants?
No. Activity of the occupants. I was warned by the inspector gentleman right there and the guy that was sitting right there, and I did everything what I was asked to. They removed the pool, I fenced the yard, and I did guardrails as I was told, the size of the fish, so the fish cannot pass through, everything up to the code. And the gentleman that was sitting right there, when we came to see him about 2.5, 3 weeks ago, he said everything was fine. All I'm asking is to please waive this fee so I can keep doing this, what I'm doing as a retirement plan, rejuvenating Hammond old houses and making it nice and livable.
I recommend that we waive the late fee.
I concur. You have 30 days to register your unit.
Can I do it today?
Yes.
So I get it out of my hair?
Yes.
The little left I got.
Yes, you can. If you want to wait until after the meeting, we'll give you a copy of the order. You can register your unit today.
Okay, I have a question. I paid through my nose for a sewer. Who I gotta complain to? $6,000.
That is not this board.
It's city board, I gotta ask, you don't hurt. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Item 2O, 1006 Cherry. 1006 Cherry. Is anyone here on 1006 Cherry? 1008. 1008, sorry. Yeah, 1008 Cherry.
I'm David Wilson. I own the property, my only property. I did know to register the property, and as God is my witness, I attempted to register the property probably twice, but at least one time I didn't have the information sheet, and they said, come back, you got till whenever anyway, and I forgot about that, and I came back on my own volition. Nobody sent me a letter, was looking me down for any money or anything like that. And I told them that I was there to pay it. And they said, well, you gotta go down to code enforcement, then you gotta go to legal. It's like, you know, it's my fault, I'll pay a fee, you know, for being late, but they sent me up here, so I'm here.
How long have you had the property?
I've owned it since 02 or 03. I was going through my divorce when I purchased it, and I was living there. And it only turned it, it's my only rental. The only reason it turned into a rental is because I couldn't sell it. And I tried to move to Illinois to be by my kids, and I ran an ad in the Times, and it was like for sale for a month. And then,
You don't live in it now? And are you renting it out?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson, you've registered this unit in previous years?
Yes.
Is that correct, with the city? And your testimony is that you went to the rental registration department, you were missing a piece of information to put on this year's registration sheet.
I was missing the rental information.
What information was it? Do you remember?
Yeah, it asked for the tenant living there, their name, what occupation, income, all that other stuff, and they wouldn't take the cash unless they had that filled out. And they said, look, you got
Was it, Mr. Wilson, was it the same tenant that you had last year?
The tenant is Dulce.
Is it the same one as last year? We don't need his name.
Yes.
I make a recommendation that we waive the late fee.
I concur. The late fee is waived. You'll have 30 days to register your unit at the regular rate.
There will be no problem.
All right. If you fail to do so, our order will be vacated and the late fee will be imposed. Thank you, Mr. Wilson.
Thank you.
Item 2P, 5657 Walter.
Hi, good morning. My name is Marilyn Jackson Smith. She's making fun of me. I'm the block party person that established the block party every year at 657 Walter Avenue. The reason why I'm here is because we signed a waiver because my husband was the brother of the owner of the house, Johnny Allen. Excuse me. He passed away May 24th. So,
Ma'am, you don't have to go. You don't have to go any further.
No,
You-
Mr. President, I am aware of the issues she's had, and I would recommend that we waive the late fee.
I recommend that we waive the late fee.
I concur.
Thank you.
All right. Item 2Q, 6131 Harrison.
$6131 Harrison? Oh, I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm Miss Gloria Crawford. I purchased the house April the 15th, and I received a notice that saying that April the 15th was the deadline. I didn't know. The only thing I received was a letter from the collection agency, and when I tried to register, they said I had to pay the $500 in order to pay the $800, and I knew absolutely nothing about that.
Ms. Crawford, you just bought this April 15th of 2013?
Yes, I have the paperwork here. And they said April the 15th was the deadline.
I make a recommendation that we waive the late fee.
I concur. I'm sorry to bring you here in front of the board.
Are you renting it out?
Yes, I am. Okay, thank you so much.
That concludes rental registration hearings. Item 2R, we have correspondence from 3rd District Councilman Higgs requesting alley lights on the 1000 block of Morris and Highland. Yes, please.
Make a recommendation that we send this over to engineering.
I concur. Item 2S, we have correspondence from Ms. Semaine of 7149 Monroe requesting a block party.
Make a recommendation that we send this to Chief Miller.
I concur with your recommendation it get referred to the police department. Item 2T, we have correspondence from First Baptist Church requesting road closures on State Street from Oakley to the railroad tracks on Monday the 15th of July to Thursday the 18th of July.
I recommend that we send this to Chief Miller also. And Gary.
I concur. And on the approval of the street closure? Item 2V, 2U, several garage sale permits for approval.
Recommend that we approve all garage sale permits.
Concur. Item 2V. We have correspondence from the Building Inspection Department. After reviewing the bids for demolitions, they're requesting the bid be awarded to JM Industrial Services, who was the low bidder.
Recommend that we approve bid award to Jane.
I concur. Item 2W. We have a request from the Building Department for emergency demolition orders on several properties, including 4928 Pine. No, just one.
Recommend that we approve the
Once that's cleaned up, you guys demolish.
approve the emergency demo.
I concur with your recommendation. Is there any other matters from Board members or department heads? Is there any new or old business? Public expression, item 10. The meeting is now open to the public. Anybody wishing to address the board, now is your opportunity to do so.
Go ahead, ma'am.
I'm here for a demolition. I didn't hear it earlier. This is my first time, and I just didn't hear the address being called out for 1013 Reese.
1013 Reese.
Yes.
1013 Reese.
That's for a bid
We
opening.
opened
Yeah.
bids to demolish that property today. There was a hearing on that property. You can get with our law department to find out when the hearing was, but the hearing occurred sometime in the past. At
Okay.
that hearing, testimony was given on the condition of the property, and the property was ordered demolished by the city.
Okay.
Today, we took the second step in that process, which is getting bids on the price of the demolition of that property.
Okay, so the bank wanted a chance to sell it, but it's already in the process of,
That's correct.
all right, okay. And who do I have to call to get the date for that?
You can contact the lady right next to you,
Yeah, I'm gonna be in front of her.
and that's the City of Hammond Law Department.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address the board? Come on forward, sir.
Me again, Sasha. What happens with the properties that you guys demolish with the land?
You can speak with our building department about that.
City owns it, that's all I need to know.
No, the city doesn't, unless the city has ownership rights in property, we don't have ownership rights in property after we demolish it.
So I can find out who the owner was. All I'm looking for to invest in here, that's all.
Yeah, the county would have that information. You can go on the county website and type in any property address and it'll tell you who the owner is.
Okay, thank you.
Good morning. My name is Erica Wolf, and I live on the 6700 block of Alabama Avenue. And the middle of June, they put up a sign that says residential parking only. We, as a block, were never notified that the sign was going up. We didn't ask for it. We don't want it. I have everyone on the block sign a paper stating that we don't want it, except for one person, which the sign is in front of her house, which we all think that she had the sign put up, because the only day, we don't live by a park, we don't live by a business, there is a church on the corner, and they own property on Alabama also. So with this sign, it's stating that they are not allowed to park in front of their own property because they are not a resident there. None of us want the sign because we don't want to have to go get a sticker to live on our own block or have a sticker for friends to come over. I've been there 15 years, my friend's been there 17 years, the 6800 block don't have it, the 6600 block don't have it. So what we're asking is that it be taken down.
Okay, can you enter the petition to the board today?
Sure. It's just something that I made up or whatever.
That's all we need.
Yeah, I just have to check the records, Mr. Prince, you can give it to him. I have to check the records because in order to put up a sign, there has to be a petition, so I want to verify.
When I called the city, they said that, I talked to he wasn't word or whatever, and she said that someone either had to complain in order to get it put up, and that they would have had to have come in front of you guys to state their reason for wanting it. And the only thing I can think of is the person who didn't sign it. She complains that on Sunday, the people block her driveway to where it's hard for her to get in and out because she has a truck. And, I mean, if it's only a couple hours one day, I mean, maybe put a sign that says no parking from here to the corner or something, but not residential parking only. Because other than that, we don't have anybody that, blocks the street or anything like that. And the church owns property on Alabama Avenue, and they can't even park there on Sunday to go to church.
Sure. Ms. Cantar, this was an agenda item.
But she has right by her driveway on both sides painted yellow. So they only
Give me
go
1
up
second, Ms. Wolf. This was an agenda item on May 20th. There was a request from one resident to place the
Exactly.
sign on the block.
Mhm.
Sign
At 6730, at her house.
It is in her front yard, yes.
I don't believe that we've substantiated the sign with an ordinance for the block, have we?
And I've even called Chico, and he said that he spoke with me twice, and he said he was gonna come and take pictures and have it
Is that
taken down.
Chico's district or Mike's?
Yes, the district.
Okay.
So then that's what our complaint is, how can one person get it put up? I understand if the church is blocking her driveway, which she has now painted yellow. Don't park up, make sure she has room.
If her driveway's being blocked, she should call the police and have the car.
Yeah,
Fine.
and then like I said, she now has yellow on both sides of her driveway. Other than that, I mean, we don't
Okay.
want the sign.
I'm going to recommend, I can't recommend anything.
You'll entertain a recommendation?
Yeah, why don't you make a recommendation that it's get entered into the record with copies sent to Gary Gleason and Chico?
Recommend that we,
With our recommendation that the sign be removed.
recommend that the sign is removed. We send these petitions to Gary Gleason and Councilman Hinojosa.
Yeah, because Hinojosa is aware of it. I've already spoke with him on 2 occasions. He actually called me Monday and said that he was on vacation and that he was going to come by and take a picture and have it taken down or whatever, so.
All right, we'll get it taken care of, Ms. Wolf.
Okay,
very
thank
much.
you. So right now, we don't have to worry about anybody getting a ticket or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Well, because that's what I was told, that, that if someone parks there and one of the residents calls, that they would end up with a ticket.
Mr. President, perhaps we could make a recommendation to the street department, we post instead a sign that says "Do not block driveway." We have those too, I know.
This would be a happy compromise, right?
Yeah, we.
Yeah.
We have the ones where they can say no parking between signs.
Yeah, but then it takes 2 signs, that's.
Well, because there's a stop sign at Martha in Alabama, and there's a vacant building there that the city used to use, that used to be a library or something, and then there's her house. So, we're just saying as a block, we're not gonna pay to live on our own block or have, permits for our friends to come. Okay, thank you very much.
I concur. You're welcome. Is there anybody else from the public wishing to address the board? Seeing as there is none,
Recommend that we adjourn.
concur.